There's a brand new MCU movie coming out called The Marvels, featuring Captain Marvel, Ms. Marvel, and I don't know which name they're going to go with her by, whether it's going to be Photon or whatever, but three of them are going to be teaming up for The Marvels. They teased it at the end of Ms. Marvel. They kind of set it up a little bit at the end of WandaVision, and now it's coming. And by any metric, it looks like a pretty decent opening weekend, except this isn't any metric. This is the MCU. And by MCU standards, it looks like The Marvels is going to open pretty low, again, by Marvel standards. This comes to us from the folks at Screen Rant who write the following. According to a new box office prediction provided by Box Office Pro, The Marvel's upcoming November 10th release is already facing a potential shortfall, with its initial domestic opening expected to generate between $50 and $75 million, less than half of the $153.4 million opening enjoyed by 2019's Captain Marvel. Further adding to the movie's predicted woes, pre-sales are down 69, there you go, percent of the pace of those sold for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and 72% behind the Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. And again, that came to us from Screen Rant. You know, yesterday I did an open mic, and one of the viewers wrote in and said, I'm predicting that's going to make $110 million. Now, this is before this report from Box Office Pro came out. Said, I'm predicting $110 million opening weekend. And I said, you know, I'm looking forward to the movie, but when you combine the fact that other than the last trailer, I don't think the marketing campaign has been particularly good for this movie. When you add on top of that Guardians of the Galaxy 3 notwithstanding, Marvel's in a bit of a slump right now, and we're still trying to wash the taste of Secret Invasion out of our mouths. With the status of just things right now, I said, I don't think 110 is realistic. I would say somewhere in the neighborhood of 65. Which then after that, the Box Office Pro thing came out, said between 50 and 75 million. So it's right in there. Now to put that into a little bit of context, let's look at the opening weekend box office of the last 10 MCU films. Okay. Now remember, the Marvels are predicting 50 to 75. Okay. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 opened to 118. Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania opened to 106. Black Panther Wakanda Forever opened to 181. Thor, Love and Thunder opened to 144 million. Doctor Strange, The Multiverse of Madness opened with 187 million. Spider-Man No Way Home almost broke the all-time record with an opening weekend of 260 million. You got to go back all the way to the Eternals that had a 71 million, and it may come in under that. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings at 75 million. Black Widow at 80 million. By the way, Black Widow kind of in the midst of the pandemic and was released day and date on Disney Plus. And it still managed to make $80 million. And then Spider-Man Far From Home, which had an opening weekend of $92 million. When you look at it now, let's say it makes $70, $75 million opening weekend. That'll put it in the top 10 of the biggest opening weekends of the year. That's good. But when you look at this graphic and you look at the last 10 MCU films and you start comparing it to the results of other MCU content, you recognize it as this is a significant step backwards. Now look, going back to a previous open mic I was doing a couple of weeks ago, maybe about 2 weeks ago, somebody wrote in and said, oh, like I'm hearing that the pre-sales for Captain Marvel are kind of down. I looked in my theaters and it looks like the theaters are more than half empty still. And I honestly said, well, I didn't even know that the tickets were on sale yet. Like, remember, the Marvels is still a month away. And up until that, somebody like a viewer wrote in about, oh, there's a kind of struggling with the pre-sales. Even I didn't know the tickets on sales. I would venture to bet this. I think 85% of the average movie-going audience doesn't even know tickets are available yet for the Marvels. I'd put money on that. I really believe that's true. That still doesn't mean that I think it's going to be big. Can it exceed that $75 million? Yeah, it can. I think it can be bigger than Black Widow, maybe. But I think that combination of 2 of the 3 characters are from Disney Plus TV shows that not everybody watched. The momentum of the MCU right now, I think it's fair to say, is kind of stagnant, notwithstanding Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Even Kevin Feige now is pulling the plug on some shows. And the fact that we got a lot of other stuff going on, I'm just not. That's why yesterday I said I see 65, not 110. I see 65 million as a plausible opening weekend. Hey guys, we want to thank a sponsor of today's video, Better help. You guys know that I've been saying for a long time that it's time for us to start prioritizing mental health in our lives. And if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. I've pointed this out many times, but we as adults know that we need to prioritize our physical health, and so we encourage each other and cheer each other on when we take steps for improving our physical health, like going to the gym. Well, it's time that we prioritize our mental health the same way. We need to encourage each other to take those steps and encourage ourselves to do that as well. So guys, take that step in prioritizing your mental health by going to BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/Campea today and get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Campea. Anyway, Chris, you see these numbers, you hear Box Office Pro is kind of projecting right now. We're still a month out. Where do you think this thing's going to land?
I'm honestly not sure, because I was thinking we'd get that uptick because of Guardians. But Guardians is such an isolated film. It really just exists
Kind of
for
is,
the
yeah.
Guardians. And I love that about it. It works really, really nicely. But performing 72% less than Ant-Man Quantumania, that makes me sad.
But of course, now Ant-Man Quantumania is part of the problem, right?
Exactly.
Ant-Man movies like that have added to the, or the reception to Thor: Love and Thunder have added to the kind of degradation of the overall impression that people have of the MCU right now.
Exactly. It goes back to the quantity over quality situation that we have here. And Ant-Man, I mean, we all were so hyped about it here. We had so many fun theories. We were talking about all these things about how this was going to connect to the greater thing. And bleh, what a warm fart on a cold toilet seat that movie was. It's really disappointing, because this is another one that I've been really looking forward to, mostly because of Ms. Marvel.
Oh, me too. 100%.
So
She's the thing I'm looking forward to the most.
Oh, I think she's great. And I really like Brie Larson in this role too. I know some people have issue with her as it for whatever reason. I think she crushes it in this. And if you need further proof of how she's like an actual superhero, if you watch any of her workouts, this girl is so strong.
Oh, yeah.
She's
No, it's crazy.
so crazy strong, putting chains around her waist while she's doing pull-ups. It's insane. I was really looking forward to this. The power switching from the last trailer got a little further explained. We got the plot a little bit more. It seems so interesting, but I don't think audiences fully trust Marvel right now. I do think something that's in its favor is there's not really a lot of other high tentpole movies coming up around this time. We've got Priscilla coming out. I'm trying to think of what else is coming out that week.
November?
Around November 3rd, November 10th.
Here's the other thing in the marketing campaign, right?
Colors of the Flower Moon.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But you look at it, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Kang was very prominent in all the marketing and stuff like that.
Yes.
Thor: Love and Thunder. You had Christian Bale was very prominent in all the stuff. Wakanda Forever, Namor was very prominent. You'd almost forget there's a villain in this movie.
Yes.
Like you catch a couple of glimpses of some unknown, unnamed, that's the baddie. We don't know anything about her, stuff like that. So that's kind of been something that's been, I think, in their marketing campaigns has prevented a lot of people from also getting excited. We don't even know what the central conflict is at this point. And I mean, Marvel's never been particularly strong at their villains. They've had a couple of great ones, but
they've got a big villain problem because everyone ends up being a jobber. They're there for one movie and then it's
unless you're Thanos or unless you're Loki.
Loki, yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe this new character can be a Loki. Doesn't look like it. Certainly not treating it like it. Anyway, guys, they're saying that the number is going to be 50 to 75. I'm projecting about 65 right now, but it could go higher. It could hit 80, 85, 90, I guess. But it's still going to be overall pretty big for the year, but pretty low for an MCU film. Where do you guys think that thing's going to land? Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.